Good morning. My name, let me give justice to the ancestors that named me. My full name is Kolopile Mudimo Wame Dabona. It is a name that I get from my grandmother because I'm the only boy out of 5 girls. We lost one. And so I'm the second last born. So there was a great prayer. That's what the name means. We got down and fasted and prayed, and we saw the results. So my name is that. Born in Botswana, raised in Botswana. Born of 2 parents, both from Botswana, although my mother's family is in South Africa, but both families, both parents from Botswana. My father from Serowe, north, central Botswana in the north, but my mother from the south. Went to school in Gaborone, born and raised there, and then went to do engineering in Washington D.C. Spent 5 years in Washington. That's really the quick summary of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over to you.
I'm D. Anthony Evans. Born Dewan, D-E-J-U-A-N, Evans. There's no really special reason that I was named that. My mother gave my aunt. She just said, you name him, and she came up with Dewan. And I'm convinced it was so I could never get a regular job in America, because if you're named Dewan, you know, it's just not a business-friendly name, but it, you know, it forced me to be an entrepreneur. My mother was my mother and my father and my structure. I grew up on the north side of Chicago the first 16 years of my life in a suburb called Evanston. And I say Chicago and Evanston because one side of the street, we literally were on the border, is Evanston, and the other side is Chicago, but that's where the cheaper rent was, but the education in the area was the best. I lost her at 16, and that's kind of when, you know, life became serious and real. My dad is from the south side of Chicago, and I'm a culmination of her suburban upbringing and his south side city upbringing. So I have the little rough around the edges around my persona, and then I have the nerd thing going on too, which makes me who I am. But I'm happy to be here. And I just want to ask you, from like the African point of view, when do you feel you became a man?
That's a very interesting question. First of all, I'm still becoming. Because I'm becoming more. And so the becoming hasn't ended. But I'd like to trace its origins, and I think that's the best I could give you, is where it originates. I was raised by a man and a woman, but I was raised by a man in terms of becoming a man. I was raised by a man. And so from my earliest memories of interacting with him, I was becoming. Every lesson at every juncture was about becoming. And so a fall and scraping of the knee wasn't just a fall and a scraping of the knee. He was digging into the character. It seemed that he was concerned with who I was. He needed to find it first. So he was first searching and then directing. He would first search. So every incident I would get into was room for him to search. And there are rituals at 7, at 14, and at 21. I wasn't going to be home at the age of 21. I was going to be overseas. So at 19, at the gate of the yard that I had called home. And we had moved in a few yards, so I can't say I had called that yard home for my whole life. But that was where we were staying at that point. We had been there for maybe 10 years. He stood next to me and said, This, he pointed to the house behind us. This is my house. This is not your house. You don't have a house. I will visit you at your house when you have a house. So as you live here, you're not allowed back here. You will only come back here for a specific time. You will tell me your arrival date and you'll tell me your departure date because you'll be visiting here. It was strange because this is a man who has given me everything all the time, has been there at every moment. He cut off on that day. It was a hard cut. When I see you next time, I'll be at your place and I'll be visiting you. You have everything you need, go. And I went to the airport, got on a plane and flew 10,000 kilometers away. And I didn't see him for 5 years. Yes.
Okay.
But to answer the question, I was walking in Washington, D.C. on the way to my flat in the middle of a blizzard because I couldn't afford the buses. I had to choose between transport and food. So I was going to have my one meal of the day. I had it on campus. My friends and I put something together. Now I'm walking to where I sleep. I'm dressed and I'm walking. And I heard his voice. And I was like, this is what it means to be a man. Yes, you are here and you have to figure it out. And tomorrow I have to wake up and find my way to school. And I won't have eaten because there's no food until I get to school. So I've eaten at 4 in the afternoon. I'll eat again at 12 the next day. This is what it means to be a man. These are your realities. So I think I was about 21 at the right time when I should have had the ritual, but I was away. Yeah, and I said, this is what it is. No one's coming. It's on me.
It's on you.
Yeah. And it landed. He had been saying it hadn't landed.
Right.
It landed when I was walking in the blizzard.
You felt it.
I said, this is what it means. So I was on my own walking in a blizzard when I became a man.
Okay.
In 10,000 kilometers from home, where they've never seen the blizzard, so I can't even explain to them what that looks like.
Yes.
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 When did you become a man?
Wow. You know, I wish it would have been under some better circumstances, but I literally became a man on a day that I didn't expect to become a man because it was very premature. But I told you my mother was sick, right? And part of her sickness was transfusions, and you know, it was a regular thing. We'd meet at the hospital on those days, the reverend of our church and me, and it'd be the three of us, you know, before she went in. And she'd always, you know, hold both of our hands. Rev, if I don't make it through, make sure you're there. I know he's a lot, but you just promise me if, and we'd be like, Mom, will you stop talking like that? What's gonna be different today, man? And, you know, it was a jokey type of, you know, ceremonial thing. She has to do these transfusions, so, you know, we kind of made it a fun thing. She'll be down for 3 or 4 hours. She'll come out, we'll hug, and then we'll go home in about 2 hours after that. And I'll never forget this. I was happy to get to the hospital, just because she was my best friend. And she said the same thing she says normally. If I don't make it, I don't come. We're like, Mom, knock it off. Bro, 4 hours passed. The doctor walks out, and he was looking at his shoes. And I knew, I could feel it in my gut, bro, that he was about to say the wrong thing, and he said it. He said, I'm sorry, I don't know how to tell you this, but she didn't make it. Now, this isn't surgery. Like, I didn't come there to say goodbye. I didn't know that the last time I talked to her was gonna be before she went in. And so when he said she's gone, like life left my body temporarily. I couldn't breathe. Tears just shot out my face because my brain was trying to process it. Like, what did he just say? And I'm like, and I charged. I was just angry. I was like, what are you saying? And I blanked out. I tore the waiting room up. But I remember getting back to our house that evening, coming into a house where I had my room and she had her room, and she's never going to be in there again. And that's when I knew it was all on me, because it was only me and her. Nobody wants an AIDS orphan. Nobody's trying to adopt to bring you and your mom died from AIDS. And I say that just because before she died, everybody had backed up because she was an activist that didn't be sick in the closet. She was sick with the megaphone condoms and HIV prevention literature. She was an awareness advocate, which was great and noble, but that put us on an island.
Absolutely.
So when she died, nobody was raising their hands to come be my temporary parent. And I'm 16, a little too old to be a kid. And I thought I was grown anyway. And God made it real for me. But that was the day, September 13th, 1993, that I lost her after school during a routine transfusion. And I knew it was only me. It's hustle or starve, period. So, as turbulent as that was, you know, it really positioned me to be the guy I am today, that you can't give me an excuse of what you can't do just because of how I started so early with manly responsibilities like rent, lights, heat, electricity, things that 17-year-olds just don't deal with by themselves. And so for me, being the man was knowing that I have a rent to pay and these really adult responsibilities that you just don't have to deal with when you're 17. And so, yeah, that's when I became a man, in my opinion. And a mature man? Absolutely not. But my life coincided with every other adult I knew at 17.
Wow. The interesting parallel of stories that are completely variant is that it would appear you become a man when you realize you've got to stand up.
Yes.
On your own.
Yes.
And do it. There is that, there's a level of responsibility that you now accept.
Yes.
But if we stretch that definition, accepting responsibility as becoming.
Yes, it is.
It may be that we will have to review the status of manhood in Africa. I'm looking at black men now. I'm being very racist, as it were, looking inward. I'm looking at black men and I wonder if we have taken responsibility, if we have manned up as black men, or we are still boys.
Yes.
Just given the parallels of these stories, because I was listening to a completely opposite story to mine, but we both at the same point.
Yes.
Non-recognition.
Yes.
This is what it means.
Yes.
By the way, my story is 1993. I'm 52.
Wow. And I'm 48. We're man.
Yeah. So we're in the same age,
yes.
except I'm 4 years older. being told you don't have you must be a man.
Yes.
And your life is telling you the same thing. It's interesting that the parallel is 1993 as well. Are we men if our continent is not under our care? Because if the resources are not under your care, you are being cared for yourself.
Correct. And you're not a man.
No,
we're not a man.
You cannot claim.
We're not
You
men.
cannot make that claim.
We're not, and let me go a little step further. We're not, as the diaspora of men, not only for that reason, but the fact that we don't pass it down. We're not being good examples collectively to the young men behind us. Men emulate other men.
It is how we are.
Yes.
We do what we see.
We do what we see. And so for us to be behaving like you're saying, and then the young man is looking up, I mean, how can we expect change or even blame anything outward when our presentation to the minds that are looking up at us, we fell short? It's about the presentation. And what we're presenting as quote unquote men is nothing to hold on that's gonna yield you results. It's gonna make you angry, get you passionate, but what success comes out of that? That's the issue.
And there are so many ills in that space of the diaspora, the man in the diaspora. And the biggest one being this notion of finding angles of feeling sorry for yourself.
Yes.
Finding angles. And it is the first thing that was taken away from me. That was the first thing I was told. You will not, as you live here, make a single excuse.
Yes. Yes.
And that was being said by someone who is the closest voice to God I've ever heard, my father, who had set an example, because like I'm saying to you, he grows up without a father.
Right.
Having to fend for himself at a very early age.
Right.
His story more similar to your story than mine. My story the exact opposite. These days, the shortest patience I have is for a man who starts by saying it is because.
Yes. Yes.
It
poison.
It invalidates your
Yes.
manhood.
Yes.
The sentence, once you complete it, you have become a boy.
Yes. Immediately.
And I remember my father, he used to say this all the time. The only reason you haven't done what you're supposed to do is because you're busy doing it. There's no other reason I'm going to listen to. You don't even have to give me that reason. I must look and see you're still busy doing it. Oh, that's his reason. He's busy doing it. There is no other reason.
Yes.
And it is one of the things that it rears its head repeatedly. And I mean in grand ways and in small ways. In grand ways, we were under apartheid for 30 years. When you make that statement, you are invalidating your manhood.
Correct.
The other statement, we've been colonized for 400 years. When you make that statement, you are invalidating your manhood.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And we need to find a way to teach those that are coming behind us the single most important thing about manhood. You are not a victim.
Correct.
And you will do nothing in that mind state.
Correct. Accountability. If you don't start with accountability and understand what you put out is what you receive, what you give is what you get. Like, this is what the universe is about. It's about balance and harmony. And if the young man doesn't understand that, because the old man is talking about this happened and that happened, and I just really quickly want to talk about how my mother, I have a disease where there's 84% of my body is covered with tumors internally and externally. I wanted to die at 9, to be honest with you, because they had been teasing me, and it's not cool being the tumor kid. She would not allow me to use that as an excuse to not go to school. You think I wanted to go to school every single day with nipples. Oh, they called me everything, man. But what the woman did was instill in me that there's something wrong with them. This is your superpower. And see, this is how I know if she was able to convince me, and then I went on to be in all honors classes, advanced placement, and I was just that stellar student who loved school until she died. I know that the way that we kind of, present ourselves to young men are wrong, because a woman changed my mindset. And I know that's what we owe the young men in the diaspora, period, is to be a non-giving up, non-tapping out man that accepts whatever his circumstances are and makes the best out of them instead of complaining about them. And I'm with you.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.